Welcome everybody to both sides of the conversation. I'm John Henry, Executive Director. Today is Sunday. So you know what that means. I'm always excited on Sunday because this is the day that we have real talk in the community. This is our Sunday conversation community where we tackle the taboo conversations. We talk about the stigma conversations and all the things in our community that we really need to be talking about. This is what we do here on Sundays. So I'm excited because, again, we got a phenomenal guest here. When I say a pillar of the community, the voice of the people and our young people, man, today's guest is going to be great to have today's conversation. So I'm excited about that. Today we're talking about how do we strengthen our community, the power of collective engagement, what we need to be doing in solidarity. How do we really uplift our community? That's what today's conversation is about. So I'm excited about that. We got the Brown Bombers here. And it's going to be a great conversation. So we're excited about that. With that being said, I want to give a huge shout out to all the amazing folks that are continuing to move in our community. There are so many events taking place and been happening, and it's always great to be in space. This week, I was able to get around to some of those events. I just want to give a huge shout out to all of the community organizations that continue to try to make things happen for our community and have events and opportunity and resources for our community. I want to give a huge shout out to NCLF. I want to give a shout out to Richard Bill and amazing folks who put together another phenomenal year of Recovery Day. It is very important for these type of events to take place in our community, especially here in San Francisco, where we deal with one of the highest issues of fentanyl abuse and substance abuse in our city. And it's always great for community folks to see who've been in those shoes and lived that life and made the appropriate change. And it's always great to give folks acknowledgement when they do take sobriety serious and make the steps to correct their life patterns. So again, shout out to NCLF, Majig, and Richard, and all of the community organizations that came together. We had the DA out there. We had probation, parole, a number of community organizations and mental health and substance abuse services out there in the community. That's what it's all about, community. How do we work together? What does this really looks like? And as we start moving forward, as things start to change in our community, we have to continue to find ways to be in partnership so that we make sure all of the resources get to our community, especially right now in these times of need. And then also want to give a huge shout out to all of the amazing folks over in D11, Maurice and OMI family, Invest Black family, and all of the folks who came together for the Excelsior Street fair yesterday. Very nice to see community out, engaged, and having a great time. Shout out to my guy EJ. He's out there running for supervisor, and just Maurice and all the amazing folks over there who continue to try to put communities together. When we talk about solidarity, bringing our Black and brown communities together and all these different districts that we represent here in San Francisco. And then lastly, just want to give a huge shout out to Shaman. He had a book signing yesterday in Fairfield. I was able to tap in and support that and support some of the local barbers, buy another book to support some young people. Again, it is our job to uplift each other, support each other in our journeys as we continue to talk about reciprocity. How do we strengthen our community? It starts with us engaged, working with each other. We have to work with each other. We have the answers and we have the solutions if we put our mind and focus on it. So I'm just excited. And I know today is the Soulful event going on at Yerba Buena Gardens. And I know a lot of folks are out there. So I know our viewership is going to be a little low because folks are out in the sun enjoying the beautiful weather, but also listen to some great music. And it is great to see Black folks in those spaces as we continue to fight for equity, for Black spaces and opportunities for us to have events in these different spaces throughout the city that sometimes our community just doesn't get access to. And we're trying to break down those barriers. So shout out to all the folks out there. I hope everybody's having a great time. I saw Ice-T doing his warm-up stuff on some of the folks out there that's catching the coverage. No, I'm not there. I'm tired, okay? I can't be everywhere. I'm taking some time off. Friday was my birthday. Thank you to all the community folks who gave me birthday wishes and all the wonderful gifts and things. You guys just touched my heart. Y'all know it's not a big day for me because I'm not into it like that, but I just thank all of the people for celebrating me, reaching out to me, sending me texts. It means a lot. It's been a cold couple of months for me, so to see some warm joy from folks just decided to celebrate, it was always a pleasure. So thank you all, community. Appreciate you all and love you, and thank you for the great birthday wishes. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start moving around so we can get going. Charisma, welcome back. Holla at the people. How you doing today, Queen?
Hey, I'm chilling like a villain and just enjoying this lovely weather out here. It's really sunny over here in South City, so I'm really enjoying it versus the cloudy weather we usually have over here. So enjoying my time, just getting some running some errands, getting some cleaning done. I'm just relaxing, getting ready for the week. You know. So
Man, and I know you just celebrated a birthday too. Us Leos,
thank
we've been
you.
celebrating. Leo's been cutting up all over the place, so I know you've been having some good ones. Brother Mark, how you doing, brother? Holla at the people. The voice is here.
Oh man, as always, Bishop, it's an honor and a pleasure to be amongst great people. Love the community. Honestly, I was so hyped about this conversation. I watched a documentary earlier today on Marcus Garvey, and there's so many things about this conversation that really warm my heart. So I'm really glad to be here.
Man, that's what's up. Glad to have you back, brother. And Sister Io, welcome. Holla at the people, Sister Io.
Good afternoon, community. Happy Sunday. I'm just glad to be here. It is some very beautiful weather in the Bay Area all over, especially in San Francisco, surprisingly. We've been having that bipolar weather. So glad that we got some good weather this weekend and we got a great conversation today.
Most definitely excited about today's conversation. Well, I'm not going to hold us up anymore. Mark, go ahead, jump into the news. Io, hit the announcements, and let's get this conversation going.
Will do, Bishop. Will do. All right, community. We're going to go ahead and jump into the headlines. And our first headline is a cyber attack on popular property listing software throws Bay Area real estate market into chaos. That's right. A cyber attack on real estate software provider Rapatoni Corporation has caused major disruption in the industry nationwide, forcing agents to manually update listings and causing workflow paralysis for nearly 2 weeks now. Rapatoni provides listing data to multiple listing services used by realtor associations across the country. And the company acknowledged the attack on Twitter, but has not given a timeline for restoring services, leading to inconveniences and potential financial issues. The breach has triggered a federal investigation and talks between Rapatoni's insurance carriers and the hackers, likely to unlock ransomware. With no end in sight, the attack is wreaking havoc on real estate agents who rely on Rapatoni's automated services for managing property information. Also in the news, inside San Francisco's illegal dumping crisis. Now, this is a real headline: buckets of feces and endless trash. Illegal dumping has long plagued San Francisco's Bayview Hunters Point neighborhood, but city cleanup crews say the problem has spiraled out of control during the pandemic. Teams pick up some 40,000 pounds of trash daily using bulldozers and dump trucks to clear debris, mattresses, and even buckets of feces. Lifelong resident and cleanup supervisor Robert Milton says the magnitude of dumping now compared to when he started his job 20 years ago is heavy. Though the city has increased patrols and fines, it is citing fewer offenders due to staff shortages. Workers say unresolved homelessness and drug issues lead people to dump near encampments, while businesses and construction sites also dump huge piles. A federal injunction barring encampment clearing may worsen the problem. Longtime residents decry the disrespect shown to the historically black working class neighborhood. The rise of renters lacking community ties contributes to the residents not taking pride in their block. Milton vows to clean up his beloved neighborhood, but knows it'll be back the next day. Boy, that's sad. Also in the news, GM's Cruise autonomous vehicle unit agrees to cut fleet in half after 2 crashes in San Francisco. Cruise, General Motors' autonomous vehicle unit, has agreed to cut its San Francisco robotaxi fleet in half after 2 recent crashes involving its driverless cars. The California DMV launched an investigation and requested the reduction after a Cruise vehicle collided with an emergency vehicle on Thursday night. This comes shortly after regulators allowed Cruise and Waymo to operate robotaxis citywide. The Cruise car could not avoid crashing into the emergency vehicle responding with siren and lights, even though it detected the vehicle and braked. Cruise said its cars has logged over 3 million autonomous miles in San Francisco and interacted with emergency vehicles 168,000 times this year. but the DMV remains concerned and will continue its probe, reserving the right to further restrict or revoke cruise permits if the crashes reveal an unreasonable public safety risk. For now, cruise is limited to 50 driverless cars during the day and 150 at night. Also in national news, Rhode Island tourist spot Block Island declares state of emergency after hotel fire, officials say. A fire broke out late Friday at the historic Harborside Inn Hotel in the tourist destination of Block Island in Rhode Island, prompting town officials to declare a state of emergency on Saturday. The roof collapsed around 1:30 a.m. as over 50 firefighters were flown in to battle the massive blaze. Ferry boats transported emergency vehicles to the island located 9 miles offshore, and the century-old 36-room hotel was successfully evacuated with no major injuries reported. However, the active fire left the island without power or limited water on Saturday. Emergency personnel and resources were mobilized, including from the mainland, to contain the Harborside Inn fire, which remains under investigation by the state fire marshal. The Block Island Chamber of Commerce denounced the emergency status on Facebook, asking visitors to avoid travel there Saturday. The blaze comes on the heels of a devastating tornado on mainland Rhode Island earlier this week, and officials thanked first responders for their efforts in dealing with both disasters. And our final headline, Pfizer's upgraded COVID-19 vaccine shows effectiveness against emerging Eris subvariant. Pfizer announced on Thursday that initial lab studies show its updated COVID-19 booster shot induces neutralizing antibodies against the emerging Eris subvariant, also known as XBB 1.5. The updated boosters from Pfizer, Moderna, and Novavax specifically target the XBB 1.5 variant, and Eris currently accounts for over 17% of U.S. cases and has also been detected internationally. It is related to the Omicron, but contains additional mutations that may increase transmissibility and immune evasion. The WHO designated it as a variant of interest, needing close monitoring. Though COVID hospitalizations in the U.S. have risen 40% off recent lows, they remain 90% below last winter's Omicron peak. Vaccine makers hope their updated boosters will provide broader protection against emerging subvariants like Eris as the virus continues to mutate. That is the news. Let me pass it over to you for those events.
There's always some stuff going on. And then I just want to give community, I know about an hour and a half ago, they had a 5.1 earthquake in Southern California, as well as Hurricane Hillary, or whatever her name is, coming into Southern California. So my folks in Southern Cal, be careful out there, okay? It's shaking down the Southern. All right, with that being said, go ahead, Ms. Io, jump into our community events so we can get going with today's conversation.
That was a lot, Mark. UCLA investigators are inviting you, farm and garden educators who identify as Black, Indigenous, and or people of color, to participate in a study so that we can better understand the social political commitments guiding their teachings and practices. The Order of Malta Clinic of Northern California is looking to hire a clinical nurse supervisor in Oakland. Looking for work? Join APRI for the August info session with guest speakers from OEWD and Meals on Wheels on August 24th, 2023 at the APRI Learning Center, 1301 Evans Avenue in San Francisco from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Bayview Opera House presents Men in Suits and Women in Dresses on Saturday, August 26, 2023 from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. at 4705 3rd Street in San Francisco. This is a free event. Suits and dresses are required to attend. For a table, please call the number on the screen. Hi, neighbors and friends from OMI Cultural Participation Projects. Please come out for the D11 community cleanups and help us beautify the district at our monthly community cleanups on August 26th at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Brotherhood and Head Mini Park, also at the Randolph and Bright Mini Park. Come out for the 2023 Potrero Hill Day on the Green Family Day. It will be Saturday, August 26th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. It will be located at the Potrero Hill Gym at 801 Arkansas Street, San Francisco. Volunteers are needed, so please register. OMI Cultural Participation Project, A Day at the Races. Saturday, August 26, 11:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Golden Gate Fields Racetrack Turf Club, 1100 East Shore Highway in Berkeley, California. Entry fee will be $100. Help us make memories. We are hiring at the Chase Center Job Fair on the Thursday, August 31st, 2023, from 3:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., located at 1 Warriors Way in San Francisco. Looking for work? Join APRI for their August info session with guest speakers from Smart Money Coaching on August 31st at the APRI Learning Center, 1301 Evans Avenue in San Francisco from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mark your calendars and join APRI and Only Loud for the Small Business Market event on Saturday, September 2nd, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Indian Basin Shoreline Park in San Francisco. It will be a day of entrepreneurship, creativity, and community. Code Tenderloin's Job Readiness Program, September 5th, 2023 at 222 2nd Street in San Francisco. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Orientation is Friday, September 1st at 55 Taylor Street. Code Tenderloin's Free Coding Bootcamp, September 6th through the 25th, Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. and through 9 p.m. at 55 Taylor Street. Restorative Justice is hosting the 11th Annual Re-Entrance Conference and Job Fair Friday, September 8th, 2023 from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at St. Mary's Cathedral Event Center at 1111 Gulf Street, San Francisco. It is free admission, parking, continental breakfast, and lunch. Doors open at 7:45 a.m. We're thrilled to announce that APRI and Swinnerton are teaming up to bring to you the STEM at the Park event on Saturday, September 23rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Indian Basin Shoreline Park in San Francisco. This event is tailor-made for high school students who have a passion for exploring careers in STEM fields. Don't miss out. New vaccination site COVID-19 booster monkeypox antiviral pill treatment Thursday, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at 330 Ellis Street, as well as Saturdays, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. at 1221 Mission Street. The San Francisco Justice presents the San Francisco Museum for All program, free or $3 admissions to low-income families in San Francisco all summer long. The community living room open all day, Monday through Friday, breakfast 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and grab-and-go lunch 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. at City of Hope Cafe at 750 Ellis Street in San Francisco. International Shakeout Day on October 19th, 2023. Join in on the world's largest earthquake drill. Register to participate. Farmers Market located at the Southeast Community Center, 1550 Evans Street in San Francisco. Every Thursday now until November 30th, 3 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. They accept cash, debit, and EBT. OMI Cultural Participation Project, The Lion King, Friday, December 8th, 7:30 p.m. at the Orpheum Theater, 1192 Market Street in San Francisco. Wu Yi presents the Holiday Pajama Jam for the Bottles and Blanket Pantry on Saturday, December 16th, 2023, from 1 to 4 p.m. at 4900 3rd Street in San Francisco. They are a new nonprofit and donations are needed. OMI Cultural Participation Projects, The Wiz, Saturday, January 27th, 2024, 7:30 p.m. at the Golden Gate Theater, 1 Taylor Street in San Francisco. San Francisco Human Rights Commission has regular bi-monthly commission meetings on the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 5 p.m. in San Francisco City Hall Room 416. You can also attend via Zoom. Be a mentor in San Francisco Unified School District. Join SFUSD school-based mentoring program. Mentoring success. Sign up to volunteer as an individual or group mentor district-wide. Would you like to promote your business, nonprofit, or community impact? Sign up for our Hidden Gem Show. Share your expertise on our Educational Thursdays and be a panelist on Sunday's Conversation. Keep up with both sides of the conversation's latest shows and community outreach events. Follow us on all social media platforms. You can also subscribe to our newsletter at bsotc.org. BSOTC welcomes individuals who are interested in giving back to their community to join us as volunteers. We value the positive impact volunteers can make and invite you to be a part of our mission to uplift and support the community. BSOTC kindly requests your valuable support for our podcast and community engagement endeavors. We cordially invite you to explore any of our donation links, as your generous contributions will greatly aid us in enhancing our programming. We would like to take this time to acknowledge the Dreamkeeper Initiative and its support of BSOTC's programming. The Dreamkeeper Initiative invests in San Francisco's diverse Black communities to reform public safety and address structural inequities in San Francisco. Join us this Tuesday, August 22nd at 7 p.m. for our Hidden Gem Show, as well as our Educational Thursday, August 24th at 7 p.m. with guest Katie Dixon on drug war survivors.
Wow, thank you. There's a lot of events, community. As you see, we're trying to get you all events that we know that's coming up ahead, so you can mark your calendars and get ready to get out of these free events, be a part of the community. We don't want to hear the excuses anymore. People, I don't know how to connect. What's going on in the city? Hey, we got a lot of events going on out there. All you got to do, put it on your calendar. All the information there is in the chat. Check it out. We want to see you out there in the community and come have a time and hang out with community. Excuse me. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and bring up my brother, the Brown Bombers, the president, my guy, the biggest boss there is, Raiden Ross. Welcome to both sides of the conversation, Keith.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. I am so excited and very happy to be here. I just want to say, John, I think that the concept of both sides of the conversation is absolutely what is needed in this day and time of what's going on in the world. And I just applaud you for bringing this concept to fruition and bringing it to the people. The cultural relevance is just so important and so needed right now, because as you know, that our community, we're hurting in so many places, and we are in need of healing, and we can't heal until we, positively assess the actual damage that is happening. So I just want to say thank you to you, John, to all your wonderful staff at both sides of the conversation. The work that you're doing to meet the people where they're at and provide needs and services, or meet needs and services, has just been incredible. So I just want to say thank you to all of you.
Man, thank you. We appreciate you, Raiden. Go ahead and tell the people who may not know about you, who you are, what organization you run, and then we'll get into some quick community stats, and then we'll let you go ahead and break some great news and some things that you got going on in the Impact community as well.
Yeah. So my name is, for those who don't know me, my name is Rainen Ross. I am a native son of San Francisco. I grew up in the Western Addition and attended St. Dominic's Elementary School, Cathedral Intermediate School, graduate of Archbishop Reardon High School, and attended Claremont Colleges for my undergrad, and received my Juris Doctor degree from San Francisco Law School. I am the president of the San Francisco Brown Bombers, which is a youth leadership development organization providing leadership opportunities for young people ages 5 to 15 years old. And we provide these opportunities and resources through the administration of after-school programming and summer programming, some that are steeped in sports. We offer tackle football, We offer cheerleading. We offer performing arts in the form of dance. We offer basketball as well, and we offer academic supports. We provide a summer learning experience during the year. Some people call it a summer camp. We prefer to call it a summer learning experience. We are teaching kids, one, cursive writing, which is a lost art that is no longer taught in San Francisco Unified School Districts. And we start that concept off by asking our kids to sign their signature. And when they don't know what to do, we realize that they don't know how to sign their signature. Cursive writing is not an art form that all our kids have in their repertoire right now. So with learning, summer learning experience, there's a quandary of services and supports that we do inside. So whether it's learning how to do cursive writing, where it's building puzzles, playing games that are designed to increase the mind and increase the knowledge of our young people. But we also have a form of outside activities. We provide breakfast. We provide lunch during this time. And the cost to attend our summer learning experience, which is Monday through Friday, 9 to 3 o'clock, is $25 for an entire 2-week period. And it's $25 because we want to make certain that the people that are in need of our services the most, the families that need to go to work to be able to provide for their families, that they have what they need to be able to take care of their children in a safe and safe space with someone that they trust. San Francisco Brown Bombers has been in existence since 1999. So we're kind of a proven commodity entity here in our city, and working with youth is what we do.
Man, thank you very much, Raymond, and thank you for all the services that you all provide for our community youth. A lot of times people get focused on the Brown Bombers as a football team, but I'm glad that you opened up and let them know about all the other services that is provided, because a lot of times folks get lost into just the football concept. But we know there's a lot of stuff, and I know you got some great news you're going to drop to the community today as well. I want to give Mark an opportunity to read the statistics, because we talked about strengthening our community today and the power of collective engagement. And we just want to give folks a kind of, we know there's issues in all of our Black community, but we talk about San Francisco today and some of the stats that we found what's going on in our communities here in the city.
All right. And their intro and stats on the vibrant Black community in San Francisco that has a long and storied history of coming together in times of need and celebration. From the tight-knit neighborhoods of the Fillmore District to the growing Black professional networks of today, we've built power through unity. But with rising inequality and displacement threatening African American community and culture, we need to foster deeper connections between our neighborhoods, churches, advocacy groups, and youth. And when we engage with each other across divides and strategize collectively, we are unstoppable. Our shared hopes for equity and justice in San Francisco can be realized if we organize, participate, and collaborate. So today we'll have a real talk about the collective engagement and on our stats right now. Around 5% of San Francisco's population identifies as African American, which is down from 13% in 1970 as rising cost has pushed out longtime residents. The median income for Black households is only $30,840 compared to $112,449 for white households, which is highlighting a massive economic disparity. You have 18% poverty rate for African Americans in San Francisco, as compared to almost 3, which is 3 times higher than the 7% overall citywide poverty rate. And in the historically Black Fillmore District, only 16% of new housing built after redevelopment went to former Black residents, which was down from 90% Black in 1970. And also, Black students make up just over 6% of the San Francisco public school population, while the Black population is just under 5% in the city overall. The unemployment rate is 9.7% for Black San Francisco residents compared to 3.4% for white residents, and over 60,000 Black residents still call San Francisco home and have a vibrant culture but face displacement and inequality. So the numbers are clear. We're at the bottom of the list on most things. What are we going to do about it, community?
Yeah, it's disturbing numbers is all I can say. And we have a community right now that's going through transformation. We got so many things that we have to deal with in our community right now, not only substance abuse, mental health, gun violence, the lack of job opportunities, the lack of everything. So when we have these conversations, it's very important, community, that we really understand how we come together, how do we bring resources together, and how do we create opportunities for other folks in the community. But Rainin is here. I want to kick it off, man. This brother right here, y'all about to hear some powerful stuff. Okay, this brother is a thinker. We've had so many conversations, Rainin, about some of the things that we need to do as community folks to really make a change. And I think you have a lot of the answers. And I think also the program that the Brown Bombers are providing for our young folks is a pathway as well. But again, this is a conversation that's needed because we're headed to some times that we haven't seen when we talk about the financial impact. We talk about the increase, 21 years, the highest increase of interest rates in America. The cost of home ownership is out of the roof. The cost of groceries are out of the roof. Everything is out of the roof right now. And it's like, how do we still survive and function as people in our community? But again, I want to open it up to you, Rainin. I know you got some announcements you want to give, but let's have a conversation about this, brother. Let's talk to the people today because they need to hear this.
Well, John, I mean, I think everything that you guys have outlined, I think the news that has been given to us, and I think that the events that have been announced are telling about what the problems are and what some of the attempts at the solutions are. And I think it's all very relevant. I think it's all very important. But two things. An elephant is an elephant for a reason. An elephant is a very large animal. And yet the elephant, being the largest, is not the king of the jungle, because there's a more agile animal called a lion who may not necessarily be stronger than the elephant, but maybe smarter than the elephant, maybe more nimble than the elephant, more flexible, and is able to use their speed when they need to and use their skill sets when they need to overcome something like an elephant. The reason why I bring this up, the elephant represents the problems in our society that we face. They're huge. They are huge. And what we know about an elephant, just like what we know about a sandwich, it takes you more than one bite to eat a sandwich, which means that you have to, and we don't think about this, when you get a burger, when you get a hot dog, when you get a hot link, you literally study for a quick second, what is your best position to attack that sandwich? We don't even think about it, but we do. Okay, do I get the left side? Do I get the right side? Is there more relish on this side? Okay, if I'm with front of people and I'm worried about the mustard getting on my face, or should go on the light side? Bottom line is that, exactly, we figure this out. We take this time to figure this out. And we got to take our time to figure out these problems that are in our community. And so the point is that we're not going to solve them in one big bite. We have to assess the situation, assess the best method of attack and the best angle, and then we go in with our resources, with our collective will and empowerment, and we try to bridge them. The San Francisco Brown Bombers come from a perspective of the most precious commodity with the longest longevity in our society is our youth. Right? The seniors, some would say, have a particular expiration date. They're probably not going to be here another 30 or 40 years. But more than likely, the expectation is that our young people will. So we take the perspective that, one, when people are at their best is when they are loved. Where does love come? Love comes from family. So when you join the Brown Bombers, it's the Brown Bomber family, no matter what we're doing. Right? No matter who you are, no matter the color of your skin, you're the Brown Bomber family. I think with that being said, in working with our youth, it gives us an opportunity to really make the inroads within our community, and particularly in our households that could benefit from additional support, that may be more inclined to accept the support if you're servicing the child versus if you're knocking on their door saying, hey, I want to come and help you be a better parent. Anybody really trying to hear things like that? So your approach has to be appropriate. Your effort has to be consistent. And I mean as consistent as water and taxes. No matter what, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And I think that when we begin to do that and we step up our level of engagement, you work with the youth, because most times families won't reject you if you're working with their children and their children are going into the household to say, I was with John Henry yesterday, Mom, and he really showed me some things that I didn't know about what I can expect in my manhood future. And so then the parent might say, well, who is John Henry and what did he tell you? But guess what? That's a form of engagement. So now if the parents ratify what John Henry has taught their child, now the parents are more open to let their child continue to participate with John Henry. John Henry gets an opportunity to provide that level of support or mentorship, however you want to describe that. And then that kid will tell another friend, because kids can't keep a secret. And so when they're having a good time and when they're feeling love and they're feeling secure and they're feeling support, they will share that. And that's how I think we can begin to deal with some of our problems in our community. When you walk into a problem with an attitude and you give an air of belief that you have the answer to the problem, or that what everybody else is doing is inadequate, you lose the room before you start. You lose the room before you start. And I think you have to have an open mind. I was just telling a young man the other day, that I was trying to talk to this girl and she wouldn't talk to me. I said, well, how did you go about doing it? Well, I came in and told her I'm woo, woo, woo. Well, that's your first problem. Right? Every woman is not going to be attracted to that. But if you come in and say, hello, how are you? And talk about something that's relevant that's going on in the world that is non-threatening to you or to her, now you can engage in a conversation. Once you begin to the engagement process, now those conversations can go just about anywhere. You can pivot. You want to keep your options open. So when you're communicating with people, you don't want to put people off. And so this is how we have to teach our young people to read the room. Unfortunately, John, as we've talked about, we have to teach our adults how to read the room too, right? Because that's partly one of the reasons why some of our lessons don't get to take shape and take hold, because they didn't read the room, because they came in like a bull in a china shop. So I just think that those are just, we have to start with the proper assessment. Then we have to determine our proper approach. And then I think we have to come in and do whatever we're going to do, but we got to be consistent with it. Those kids have got to know that you're going to be there, not Monday through Friday, but Monday through Sunday. They got to know that. And when they know that, when they have an issue, when they're faced with a fork in the road, they're going to think, oh, let me call John Henry. Something ain't right here. And they know that John Henry is going to let them know that, yeah, that fork where you're at, go right, do not go left. No matter what you do not go left. And that's what we got to do, and that's what we can do. And I think we can do that with our community. We just have to, one, initiate a level of engagement, in some cases step up our level of engagement, and qualitatively be concerned about how we are engaging. Because the how is very important. I can say a lot of things, and I think we probably have all heard our parents tell us this. It's not what you say always, it's how you say what it is you're trying to communicate. Big misconception. I love the church. We all grew up in it. The worst thing we can do to our children and the worst thing we can do to our community is give them the impression that what's coming out of our mouths, as well as intended as it is, if it lands on their ears as preaching, we might have lost them. We might have lost them. And you can't preach what you're not practicing, because one thing we know about young people is they can spot a fraud. They're experts. How you gonna tell me to do that, Mr. Ross, when last night I saw you at whoop, whoop, whoop? There we go. All credibility is shot. It's over, and you're not getting it back. So those are just some initial thoughts that I kind of have on that.
And children are so honest.
Yes.
Their honesty it will humble you.
Yes.
And also understanding that model behavior is what they pick up on.
Yes.
Like you said, it's not what you say to a child, it's what they observe you doing. You cannot tell a child, you need to do this, this, and that. You need to go to school, get an education, get a good job. And you laying on a couch watching Maury Povich. Doesn't balance. They don't understand. They don't have anything to grasp onto or to take. So with collective engagement, especially when it comes to our children, it starts in home. And then the mentors and role models that they see outside, all of those things, that's a collective engagement when it comes to our children. So if they see daddy on the couch, mommy in there gossiping and watching Maury all day, nobody's getting up being responsible or having any kind of work ethic, you go out into the world, and gratefully, especially in our community, we do have great mentors who are telling them, you know, that might be your parents' past, but look at what I'm doing. It conflicts, but at the same time, they have some hope. So if they see the mentor really walking the walk that they're talking, they have some hope. You can't be a mentor out here with all these kids and telling them, oh, do this, do right, do this, but you still uplifting the street life.
You can't have one foot in, one foot out. Can't do it. It doesn't work. But I will tell you this. These are called fingers. At the end of our fingers, we all have a fingerprint, and no fingerprint is the same. With that being said, if you want to know how to reach a child, all the children, ask them an individualized question that only they can answer that will pertain to them. What is your hopes and dreams? Something that belongs to them. And when you learn what their hopes and dreams are, you should be able to shape your conversation along the lines of the things that matter to that child, if you would like to reach that child. And this works with kids that are justice involved. This works with kids that are not justice involved. This works with children, because children, they have hopes and dreams. Even if it's, I hope, Mr. Ross, I grow taller. Okay. So guess what? Now you know something that he or she thinks about often is that they want to be taller. Now, you may not know nothing about what it takes to do that, but guess what? There will be a pause in your conversation where you're going to get to go learn. And you can go learn. You can go read up on pediatrics. You can go find out how much sleep will contribute to a child growing taller. What else can a child do to increase their growth spurt, right? Talk to doctors. There's a way that you can find out information. Then when you come back and you share it with your children about the things that matter most to them, they're going to at least give you the opportunity to listen to you, right? And if you're consistent with that level of support and care, because I want to tell you what that really comes out to, just so we all clear. You want to know what actually makes the world go round? I know everybody says it's the money. I get that. But it's really the LOVE. When I do something nice for you, when I share something nice with you that you care about and it's consistent, if you look for a word to try to describe what I just did and how I made you feel, you know what you're going to really come back to? That was love. That was love. That was very similar to my mother holding me when I had a boo-boo on my finger. That was very similar to my dad helping me off the basketball court because I sprained my ankle. It's not the coach, it's not the medical person, it's my father. The person who brought me to the game, the person who brought me the shoes, the person who signed me up for the team, the person who supported me, the person who took off from work so he can come be with me and watch me do what I do. And I got hurt, and my daddy showed that love. So when we're working with people, if you're being consistent, like taxes and like water, because I think we can all agree that's about as consistent as you can get, that's when people are feeling at their best and feeling at their highest. And that's how we can, I believe, affect change. And so that's why I say quantitatively, you have to determine when you're reaching out to somebody, how are you reaching? What are you saying? What is your tone? What is your pitch? Are you preaching? Are you pointing your finger? Look, young man, this is what you need to do. Blah, blah, blah. Man, miss me with all that. You will not get another chance to talk to that kid. He's done. He's done. And so for me, when I think about the community engagement, there's so many levels that we can engage our community in. I just choose to work with the youth first because I just love the kids. And I'm just going to be very, very clear with you guys. I'm a native son, born and raised in San Francisco. If it wasn't for the men outside of my household, I would be a statistic in some form or fashion. If it wasn't for San Francisco Park and Rec, my director is no longer working there any longer, but his name is Ken Banford, and he did something for me. He did something for me, and he knows exactly what he's done for me, and he knows exactly what he's done for my brothers, and he knows exactly what he's even done for my son. See, so I can spout off all of these people that made these impressions in my life that were outside of my household. My fourth grade basketball coach, Guy Avila, at St. Dominic's Middle School. Sister Ann, the nun at St. Dominic's, who was the principal. And my first English teacher, Miss Brody, she's the reason why I cannot stand dangling participles, because she made certain that I learned what a dangling participle was. And to this day, I will never forget it. And my science teacher, who helped me understand what the Oedipus complex is, who helped me understand what photosynthesis meant and showed me how to build an actual example of photosynthesis at the library in the Western Addition on Gary Street and Scott Street. These are the memories that I have as a young man trying to navigate Fillmore with all the nonsense going on. Yes, I was born in the hood. Yes, we were born in public housing. Yes, I was raised by a single mom, but she gave everything. She did everything. She sacrificed everything. And when we acted up, raising 4 boys, she knocked everybody out. And I'm the short one. And my brothers were 6'5", and she didn't care. You were getting it. So we can do more. We just have to actually make the steps. And for what our community is hurting with right now, our young people are wilding out. In the Western days, if you didn't train and break a horse, the horse ran wild. If we don't train our youth from when they're 5 and younger, then they learn their lessons from the streets. And now that we have social media, you can see some very barbaric situations that occur anywhere in the world. Now that image is brought directly to your child's ear, directly to your child's eyes. And for that child of yours who may not feel good about him or herself, may feel like they're depressed, that people don't like them, and now they can look at some very bad situation on social media and see that they got 100,000 likes. Oh, wait a minute. All I got to do is engage in this behavior and I can get those likes and people will like me. Here we go with what we call copycat behavior. So I just think that we just need to recognize what we're doing. And our parents, right, they're working, they're trying to live their lives. And I get that. But I always say this, the moment you decided to have a child, you put your life on pause, cut it out. It's not about you no more. It's not about you when you have kids. It's about you when you're just doing you, all good. But when you have kids, it's got to be about them first. And with that being said, your child is in the passenger seat. Your child is in the back seat. But you on a grown folks conversation on the speakerphone in the car talking about a whole lot of stuff that this child should not be hearing about adult activity and adult life. And so we're poisoning our kids, and we don't realize we're poisoning our kids And then when we get a call, not from the principal like back in the day, but you get a call from the captain at Bayview Station saying, we got John Henry down here because he got a gun, a car, and a bottle of tequila. Good tequila, too. So those are some of the things that I think we just need to pay much closer attention to, because at the end of the day with youth, right? You mentioned something earlier, AO, and I just thought it was great. Watch this. When you buy a ticket and go to the movies, you get you some popcorn and you get you something to drink. You know what you do next? You watch what's on the screen and you say nothing. That is what children are doing when they watch the adults in their lives. They're watching the screen. And you get to determine the content that they get to take in. It's amazing. It's really simple, I think. I don't think it's actually that complex on what we need to do. If we model our behavior and change it to something that is representative of doing the right thing and being as positive as we can, and we're showing that to our children, and then we're reinforcing it with our children, and then when they mimic that model behavior, we show love and we let them know, you're a big boy, you're a big girl, mommy's proud of you, daddy's proud of you. What kid have you ever heard when someone said, I'm proud of you, they say F you? That don't normally happen. If that happens, we probably need to go see a psychologist, because might be some delayed, symptoms going on upstairs. But when you show your kids that level of love and you're as consistent with it, they become to expect that. And so now it's kind of like dopamine, right? They want to hear that love. They want to experience that love. So I'm going to go out and do good behavior. Mom, I finished my homework. Everything good? Mom, I finished my homework. Okay. Boom. Mom, here's my report card. Mom, I got an A on that project. Dad, good looking out on bringing my lunch at school because I was starving and I forgot it. No problem, son. I got you. When you think about the errands that parents run for themselves, if we make certain that we include our kids in that, whatever they may need, he left his cleats, she left her dance shoes for ballerina, she left her leotard for the gymnast class, and mommy and daddy, swoop it through real quick. Those are the moments that our kids are going to remember. And that gives them the fighting chance. Now, these are not prescriptions that says they're going to always net positive results. But more than likely, you're going to get more positive than you are negative results when we give these kids these opportunities.
Well, I really thought what you said was really powerful, Rainin, and it really resonates with me because I have a 3-year-old daughter, and every day that I get her from school, I make it a point to talk to her about how her day was, what she did, what she ate, who did she play with. And you'd be surprised about how much they remember about their day and how much they actually know. So even though she's 3, she could tell me everything that happened. She could tell me who said what, who went on timeout, who she played with. She could tell me everything about her day. And I just make it a point to give her my undivided attention when she's out of school, because I've been at work all day. So when I get her, I want to make sure that I'm connecting with her and that I'm present, because, of course, when one of my friends might call me and try to talk to me, I'm like, hey, I just picked up my daughter. I'll talk to you a little bit later when she goes to sleep. Right now, I'm asking her about her day, because it has to be about her, like she has to know that I'm here, because even though I picked her up, she could see me physically. That's different than me interacting with her, having a conversation, put the phone down, ask them about their day and what they did and, what their favorite color is. It's like little things, like things that I didn't even understand that she understood. She's so smart. And she just knows so much. And just listening to her speak, I'm like, wow, like she's powerful. She's amazing. But I'm not going to know that if I'm always on my phone or I'm always talking to my friends and I got her in the back seat and I'm running my mouth. Like, no, when I get my daughter, it's all about her.
That's great. I think you're onto something. I think if more parents would kind of model that simple change, that acknowledgement, I think it will pay dividends like you wouldn't believe. And our kids deserve that. And when we grew up, and I know one of the things that's different today, But when I grew up, dinner was served at 5:30, and as young people, we set the table. And when we sat down, because obviously there were no phones back then, but guess what we did? We literally talked. How was your day? What happened in school today? And like you said, your kids are going to tell you who was on timeout. And guess what? The moment they tell you that, and you know it's coming, you get to have a teachable moment. What? You think she should have been on timeout? Well, yeah, mama, because she was doing blah, blah, blah. Okay, so guess what your daughter just showed you? She just showed you the difference between acting up and acting right. And you get to finish that conversation off with, so how did you behave? Oh, I was acting right. So you understand that when you act right, you don't get put on timeout. No, mom, because she be tripping. There we go. Right? And that means mission accomplished. So she learned some stuff in school, but now she learned some stuff with mommy and daddy that, are going to just pay dividends. And think about learning. What learning is, when you think about it, it is sand on top of sand, on top of sand, on top of sand, right? There's so many nuggets that you get to teach our kids. Don't worry about their brain capacity, because I promise you, because it's coming through a navigation of love, they're going to keep it. And because it's about something that they're interested in, which is, little Maisha getting in trouble. They're going to learn and keep growing from that as you keep bringing it up and teaching them. So I think that's the way to go.
Well, Raiden, you just pulled out a couple things about me. I'm triggered now, okay? I finally figured out why I'm only 5'10". I didn't get enough sleep, Mom, okay? I still don't get enough sleep. Maybe this is why I'm not growing, all right? So I got to go get some rest. But the other thing you brought out is the failure of our school district. You talked about St. Dominic's and Reardon and all that. I think that's where I went wrong. The San Francisco Public School District failed me. So all of the misgrammar, all of the misspoken words, and all of the things that I struggle with educationally. Thank you, San Francisco Unified School District. You ruined another good student. All right. Well, with that being said, Brandon, I got to jump in there because I think, not only the words that you are saying powerful, but I've been shouting this on my platform for a couple years now. In the Black community, I keep saying we have to reset. We have come to a breaking point in this community all across this country, not just here in the Bay Area, not just here in San Francisco, but in Black communities. We have hit the wall. Everybody's trying to be at Z. And I keep saying we have to reset and start back over A to Z. We got to go back to the basics. We got to teach young people. We got to teach parents. I'm going to tell you, the parents are the biggest problem in our community right now. The adults, the community leaders, the elected officials, the folk that we're supposed to be learning from, they are the ones who are failing us at an all-time high. When you talk about the pulpit, the amount of messaging, the messaging that is coming out of our spiritual realms, these pulpit pimps, I call them, the poverty pimps, okay? We got an issue in our community. Only way we can change this is we got to start over, Rainy. We got to hit reset. I heard you earlier say, eating at 5 o'clock, and I heard you about things that's taking place in our homes and things that we're hearing from our parents, and we're just not getting that anymore. So we have to make a reset. We have to start over and go back to the basics because our young people are not getting it. They don't understand the importance of sitting at the table, having a conversation, doing the certain things, the house chores around there. When we talk about how we engage young people, we're not giving them the conflict management skills. We're not giving them the emotional skills. We're not teaching them how to conflict manage, right? And what's happening is because of these failures, I remember when I was in school, that was one of the things that we did have. We had conflict managers. Me and Jafria, we was conflict manager. A couple of folks from the community I know, we went to school together. We was able to get that. And what it taught us was when you had differences with people and different ideals or different perspectives or different situations, how to handle things without exploding, right? Meaning coming out in a violent manner or verbal violent. We was able to have managers who could sit down and we can mediate and have a conversation. I think the problem in our communities that we're having right now with young people, teenagers, and I'm not even going to say young people, Rainy, because I'm going to say a lot of these shootings and killings and things that are happening in our community are happening to folks 30, 35, 40 years old. So it's not just the young people. They are influenced by the decision of these 30 and 40-year-old men. And I think we got to address that as a community, because our big homies, these elders, my big brother, my big whatever, that's teaching our young folks the wrong ideals and what's going on. That's where the conversation has to start. You know, it's like when you talk about the change of our community. I remember when I grew up in the community, all right, it was always the elders, the OGs. They didn't let us hang out, right? It's like, John Henry, you ain't coming out here after 3:00. You know what I mean? If you want to be a fool and not go to school, that's fine. But you can't come hang out in the community. We don't have that anymore. We got older folks, big homies. They encouraging the young people. Oh, you ain't got to go to school. Here, come hold this pistol for me. Come hold these drugs. Come do this for me. Because I don't want to get caught up. And you're young. They can't do nothing to you. You're just going to juvenile hall. You know how many kids raining I work with at juvenile hall, and this is what they big homies. The folks that's around them that's older is telling them, hey, you know, you can hold this gun. You know, ain't nothing gonna happen to you. They just gonna take you to juvenile and let you out. This is what our elders, the adults of our community, are telling our young people. And we wonder why the result we are getting with robbing, murder, killings, shootings are happening, because the adults, when we have the chance to correct our young people, we don't correct them. I always say you got to connect with the young people before you correct the young people. But when you interconnect with young people, if you don't give them the right advice, if you don't give them the right information, that is the start of this spiral of hopelessness, emotional instability, and violence in our community. It all comes out in those realms. So how do we reset the adults in the community? How do we reset the parents? You talked about social media. You got young ladies out here, their moms on social media with them. They in the TikTok videos, you know, doing all type of stuff, dressed all inappropriate, and the daughter's just watching it. Now the kids got to go to school. What do you think the kids are saying? Oh, I saw your mama last night on TikTok. She was busting it wide open, right? This is the stuff that our young people is dealing with.
Well, I'll say this to you, John. You all have heard this statement before. In Rome, you do what the Romans do. So fast forward to 2023. In community, you do what the community does. That's social media. You watch it, you like it, you mimic it, you regurgitate it, and you reproduce it in some form of fashion. Our young people that are even having conversations with the big homies that you're talking about are looking to fill a void. You're looking to fill a void. And normally, you don't have to go past the household to realize where the void may be. Now, I know that there's another part of America that loves to say, oh, there must not be, for the Black and brown youth, there must not be a father in the home. And I think many of us have believed that for many, many centuries. And I don't think it's absolutely accurate at all. I think there are some very well-adjusted, well-educated, well-to-do, high-earning folks who have been raised by single parents in public housing, in subsidized housing. So I don't think that that's the issue. I think it's what are you exposed to in addition. So watch this math. There are 40 hours in a work week, okay? Technically, we expect to sleep 8 hours a day. If we sleep 8 hours a day, that's 40 hours. So 8 hours out of 24 hours will leave you with how many hours? 16 hours, right? So if there's 16 hours a day left, what are we doing for those 16 hours? Well, our kids are probably going to school somewhere for 6 to 7 hours a day, right? And supposedly getting an education. So if it's 7, then what's left? Then let's just say it's 11 hours. So that means that for 11 hours on a daily basis, those kids are going to be trying to figure out, are they spending time at home with their families, having dinner, breaking bread, congregating, having community with family, because and learning their lessons and their morals and their ideals. Basically, at the end of a day, there might be a 3 to 4 hour window for those kids to do that with their parents. 3 times 5 is 15. So that means that our families get an opportunity to make an impact on their children for 15 hours a week, while our kids are with the outside world through education at school, hopefully, through the social media that's getting to them on their phones, to the computers, to what they see on the prints on the buses, to what they see in the music that they listen to. You're talking about more than 40 hours of outside influence every week versus possibly a maximum of 15 that the family is getting with their kid. With that dynamic, we're in a situation. How could we expect to win? But watch this. You know it must work on some level. There must be a way to make it work. You know why? Because on the first day of school at every college in the United States of America, there's a huge freshman class. So that means what? That means that somebody has been taught enough, has held on to some lessons long enough to engage in the process that has now found them in somebody's long line on a college campus to get their dorm assignment. So we know it's not about the time, it's about what you're doing with that time. What are you communicating? How consistent are you with it? And so I don't like to put on the people and say somebody's not doing X, Y, and Z, pointing out what they're doing wrong. Like when I teach children, I don't teach them what they're doing wrong. I teach them what they can do better. So we don't say wrong, we just say better. And it starts out with, I need you to put forth a better effort. And that may start with thinking about what you're supposed to be doing before you physically actually engage. Let's do a better effort. Let's work on this. Let's work on that. So I think that, John, when you say, you know, we need a reset, to me, that's the reset, is just re-engaging with our kids in a way that's going to matter, and talk to our kids to find out what matters to them. You got to know what buttons to push, because if you don't know what buttons to push, you could be pushing all the wrong buttons and pushing those children away from you. At the end of the day, I think there's a universal feeling that I think most of our children are looking for. And I said it earlier. Acceptance, safety, warmth, availability, and something that's consistent. All those things are disciples of the word love, because all those things are parts of the ingredient that makes for a loving atmosphere, a loving feeling that someone cares about me. The only reason why gangs are able to continue to exist and grow is because they've learned that they can fill a need that is a void for that young person. Big homie, father figure, I'm gonna put my arm around you. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna roll with me. You hungry? I got you. We're going to B&J's. You good? I got you. Before you know it, I got you a cell phone. You ain't paying no bill, but you can make calls all day. You're feeling pretty good. Now you kind of indebted to me. Little homie, I need you to do whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, big homie, right? I don't have a place to live. You're gonna go ahead and couch surf. Big homie's gonna go ahead and hook you up. All of a sudden, the needs that a young person may have are now being met by somebody who may not be the best person in the world, but they're looking out for that young person. And so now that builds loyalty. And what comes loyalty is reciprocation. And so now I have me a soldier. I have me a soldier. And I sell you on the concept that even if the worst thing was to happen and you were to get caught with this, you're just going to juvenile, you'll be good. You'll be good. Remember that little homie I had you beat up the other day? That's all you're going to do when you get up there. Somebody say something, you just knock them out. Because you know how I show you how to hold that left and don't drop that right? Yeah. And so you get those type of conversations going on. So, you know, I just think that the best remedy, the best solution, the best anti-nonsense that our young people have to deal with is if they had an opportunity, an alternative of a whole bunch of love that came in a lot of different forms of fashion that were absolutely consistent. I think at that point, we give our kids, at least at the minimum, We gave them an option. And that's that being in that fork in the road. Do I go left? Do I go right? I only gave you guys where I received my education for one reason. It was San Francisco. Because see, I believe in my city. I believe in my city. I've been committed to San Francisco to the day I was born. And when my mother raised us, the concept of service, we're kids. Service is what your legacy is going to be once you determine what legacy was. You're going to help people. You're going to hold people up. You're going to look out for people. You're going to show people that they belong in your community, and you're going to make sure that they got what they need. And when you help the old ladies across the street, my mother would let you're not going to accept no money. You're going to do that because you would want somebody to do that for me if I was coming across the street. So, to me, that's what this is about. This is about teaching our kids something, but none of that will happen until you as a parent are collectively invested. And that means with everything in your being, every resource you got being put towards your child, every piece of money you got, every friend you got, everybody you know in this world. How can any of these people help me put my child in a better place? And so I'm not saying that San Francisco Unified is failing kids. I'm going to say that San Francisco Unified is having a challenging moment because they're not able to give kids everything that they need. But in order for that educational process to work, let's just be real clear. That kid has got to come to school, first of all. 2, that kid has got to come to school without weapons, second of all. 3, that kid has got to come to school with an intent, a purpose, a desire to learn something and be a part of the process and not be a part of the problem. If he's only coming to school to look for other kids to bully, then you're better off not going to the school so that classroom and have an opportunity to do what it's trying to do, because those kids are trying to learn. So I just think the San Francisco Unified, they just have challenges. I think they can work through these challenges. There's a great deal of resources out here. I think we need more teachers. I think we need better teachers. But watch this. I am a sports fan, love sports. We're paying athletes $63 million to shoot a basketball, run up a football field, and we're paying teachers less than $50,000. As a United States of America, we should be ashamed of ourselves. We should be ashamed that a teacher cannot make a real salary to take care of their children, and we are giving athletes this amount of money. And we're breaking our tails to buy a ticket to take our kids to see them. And again, like I said, I am a big proponent of sports. I love it. It teaches great lessons. But we as a country, why are our teachers striking when they're making $60,000 a year or less? A teacher is not worth $100,000. The teacher whose job is to teach tomorrow's future is not worth $200,000 a year. Look at the amount of money that some cities spend on initiatives to deal with things in their community. And then you look at how much they're paying a teacher. You're spending $200 million on this and you're paying a teacher $50,000 salary. And then when school is out, watch this. Teacher gets no money? Come on, man, something is wrong. So when you talk about a reset, John, that's probably where the reset should start. What is our priorities? What is our priorities? Do you buy the Tesla while you're trying to pay your rent? Or do you buy a home and take out a HELOC and buy your car outright with cash and buy and take the 2 points on your mortgage going up, where now your mortgage payment is, instead of $2,000, is $2,040. This is the type of thinking that we need to get away from and get with on how do we economically empower ourselves. And I'll say this about Black people because, I'm an expert, right, because I'm Black. There's nobody more resilient than us. And our women, our mothers, they can get water out of a rock. They can take a loaf of bread, tell that baby to go upstairs, and when he come down, he gonna smell something real good. He not gonna know how it got to that point, but he gonna sit at that table, he gonna eat it, he gonna say, Mama, I want seconds. Because that's what our Black women have been able to do. So we have the ability to do great things. Our Black culture would not advance and be where it is today if it wasn't for the presence and the resilience and the motivation and the strength of Black women. We as Black men, we got to do a better job of holding our sisters up and holding our sisters down, right? Stop looking at child support as a monetary thing, as if that child has an actual monetary value. She shouldn't even have to come to the child support office if you actually did your job as a father. How about that? We're not together anymore. That's cool. We don't see eye to eye each other as a relationship. No problem. But guess what? You're going to raise them 6 months out of the year. I'm going to give you money for whatever you need. And then I'm going to raise them for the other 6 months out of the year. And I appreciate if you give me a little support when I got them. Didn't we all just win? The kid just won. All the parents just won. There's no snatching of taxes out of folks' bank accounts. There's no snatching tax returns. It's none of this, disabling your driver's license. Now you can't drive legally to work to make the money. So now you're going to break the law because you want to drive anyway, whether you got bad L's or not. And just so for the record, not to get into this all the way, but what is the quickest way to get into the criminal justice system for a Black and brown person? Through the California Vehicle Code. Because once you get stopped, the officer is going to look and see what he or she observes. Is there something in the car that probably shouldn't be there? Is there contraband there? Is there something emanating from the vehicle that shouldn't be emanating from the vehicle? There's something in plain sight, so forth and so on. And so all I'm saying is that we just got to do a better job individually to make better choices as the adults, and certainly on behalf of our children, because we can do it. Because who could have gone through what we have gone through in this world, including America, as Black people, and still be here? John, look at you. You started both sides of the conversation. Statistics say you're not supposed to be doing this. Statistics say you're supposed to be at 8:50, hoping somebody comes see you on Sunday morning for a visit. That's what statistics say. But look where you are. Look at all of you. You're shining. You're beautiful. Can't nobody tell you nothing. And I believe right now that all of you are economically in a place that if you chose what you wanted for dinner tonight, you can probably go afford it. So we know that we are great. We know that our potential is there. How much of that potential do we want to see in our kids? How committed are we to that? Because we're committed to the club, right? When it comes, we committed to buying a Beyonce ticket at $2,000. We're even committed to buying a Beyonce ticket for $3,000 to go see her in Germany. What are we doing with that? So now you didn't just spend a whole mortgage payment on going to see Beyonce? Because I promise you, no matter how dressed up you get, how much you beat your face up for the gods, right? Beyonce ain't gonna see you. The people came to see Beyonce, they didn't come to see you. And you just spend all this money. So we know that we are great. We just got to make healthy decisions for all of us.
Go ahead, Brother Mark. I know you got something.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you to Brother Ross for being the consistent example. I know how important representation is, and particularly to see another Black man be an example. My question is honestly more about the mindset, because I don't think our pillars in the community get enough support. I don't think we're intentional enough as a community. And I just kind of big picture, you touched on a couple of things. One, that the community is facing a shortage of teachers. We're dealing with economic disparities where, again, the psychological impact of looking at important roles in the community not being valued in our society economically, as opposed to the trivial being put on pedestals and almost worshiped economically. for our children, when they're trying to make sense of the world that they're seeing, do we have the sense of urgency of how important it is for us to come together as a community? Or do you find a lot of people kind of dealing with this cognitive dissonance of they're not looking at the big picture of the first 7 years of a child's life are the most formative in how they turn out as an adult? And to not understand we need to protect that as a community and be intentional, because even though we have this illusion of freedom, we understand we're still not a autonomously free people, and we've been under a systematic warfare, so to speak. But we're kind of have this laissez-faire approach with, it is whatever. Do you see us waking up and being much more intentional about protecting our children at a young age as a community? And if so, what are some of the more creative ways that you've seen that have gotten people more engaged?
So that's a really, really good set of questions. Human beings are individual. What your question addresses is a collective effort and will. The United States have fought many wars over the years against so-called foreign opponents. In doing that, our military, made up of lots of men and women, have been trained after voluntary joining and commanded to execute a particular plan. That's not going to happen in our society, okay? Because everybody are individuals. And that would be the most expeditious way for something to happen so that we can begin to see the change and deal with the systematic failures that we have going on and the things that, that plague us. I think it comes down to this. Both sides of the conversation got to keep having these conversations, because both sides' conversation gives a verbal narrative and depiction of what is actually happening. So at the end of the day, folks who are involved, who are in the midst of it, can't say you didn't know, can't say you weren't told. John Henry does not have a quiet voice. You can't say you didn't know. So for me, as much as I'd like to align myself with some other people, I recognize that everybody is not willing or ready to be at the starting point that I am. So guess what that means? I can't hold up the race. I must run my race. The Brown Bombers are my race. And I do what I can as often as I can do it and make whatever impacts that I can. Does that mean I won't make mistakes? Of course not. Does that mean I won't have a dissatisfied customer or family? Of course not. But I can't wait on the rest of the people, because I haven't vetted them. So I don't know if they're really the type of high quality person I want to actually be associated with. Because I'm sorry, I just can't really deal with people that are not trying to do the right thing. So if you have some criminal minds or you have something else in your heart that is not about uplifting and serving, yeah, when I see you, how you doing, give you a dap, and I'm moving on, because I can't with that. But for those that want to, one of the things I didn't say about the Brown Bombers is all volunteer. I have over 50 staff members that have been like-minded in their approach. From men as coaches, women as coaches. We have a lot of former participants in the program that have now come back to coach and to give their love and their support, because they want to uplift community. They want to serve youth. And so from that perspective, if folks are on the same page and trying to do trying to do something, I have no problem in working with those folks. But what you realize is that you can't hold the bus up for someone who's taken a long time to get on the bus. If they're not trying to get on the bus, they know where the bus is, they know you're the driver, and you've asked them to get on, you've asked them to participate, and they keep hemming and hawing. man, if you don't close those doors and put that bus in drive and just move forward. Because at the end of the day, I think all of us can probably agree. I can show you better than I can tell you. And I think that's what John was talking about. I think that's what all you were talking about. The lip service is no longer enough. We gotta see you in action. We gotta see the work. So I think, to your answer, to your question, it's hard to watch what's happening. We can pass judgment, or we can abandon judgment and just get in where we fit in and try to help and do what we can in our lane. And I think I think if enough people, there's 5 lanes on the freeway. If everybody got it, picked a lane and started rowing in the same direction, eventually we're going to all be together. But you got to row in the same direction, and you got to pick a lane. You can't get in my lane and say you want me to row faster. That ain't finna work, right? That's why you got 5 lanes on the freeway. A car can't get behind me and honk his horn at me when there's 4 other lanes you can get in and just switch lanes and go as fast as you want. So these are the small metaphors for life that are sitting in front of us that I think they just kind of escape us on a daily basis. I know that was a lot to answer that question, but I hope that.
No, it hit on it perfectly, because especially in San Francisco, in our communities, we have a lot of these nonprofit organizations or organizations who, in the start, it was a common goal to uplift, to rebuild our communities, right? We have all these different chapters, all these different organizations. However, they lost sight of what the common goal was. Money gets involved, greed, ego, and you lose the integrity. And with that, we lose the community of what the common goal is: to rebuild, repair, to replenish our communities. Like you made a great statement, and I love all your analogies. I'm sitting over here writing them down, Mr. Ross, just to let you know. I would say in quote, but
please make sure you say Raiden Ross, okay? I don't want to get a bill in the mail from
Mr. Ross.
Hey, that's Raiden Ross quote right there. Y'all go.
Yes. I put it in my notes, actually. But I've said it several times in these type of conversations that we've had here on the show. The integrity of the community, like you said, you're going to help Miss So-and-so across the street with her groceries and not expect anything of it. That's the community I grew up in. You couldn't do something on one street and think that your parent wasn't going to know by the time you got home. That's where I grew up. That's the time that I grew up in. Mm-hmm. And there was never any thought of, oh, you got to pay me for this action. It was the service. It was the service. It was that feeling you get inside, like being a good kid and actually doing a good service, because that's what your parents instilled in you. That's what the community instilled in you. There was not one child in the group of kids. I grew up over in District 11 and in Lakeview area, District 10 in the Bayview area. I've been all over San Francisco. So each community that I grew up in, I went from living on the street with all 2-parent homes to me not understanding when my friends said, I'm going with my daddy. However, regardless of the state of the community, it was still that one accord. There was still a common goal, that we look out for each other, that we make sure we have the respect for one another, that no child gets left behind. You see some, and there was, the banter, kids played at dozens, but nobody was maliciously attacking anybody or belittling anybody or making them feel less than, because we all had the same struggle in some form. And the love, key word you said, the love of the community was there. Burnett to Jolie Gym, to everywhere that was there. My sister's first job, she's been with Rec and Park since she was 15. She's 52 now. Her first job was at what was called Ocean View then. Now it's Minnie and Levy. And I do know Ken Bafford. He's a great friend of my family. He's watched me grow up since I was little. So the community in each and every section of San Francisco, there was that common goal. Each one teach one, and we look out for one another. Even back then, the guys hanging out on the streets, it was that same thing. Oh no, you're not about to be hanging outside. Oh no, you're not about to be sitting up here. Oh no, where you got to be? All right, you need to get there. Sun going down. Hey, my mom and dad already knew. Why you stop at so and so? Wait, what? I couldn't get in the door and try to be slick at all. Like, wait, what? I was on punishment before I even got home. I didn't even know. But that collective goal and the love, the respect, the integrity of the community was there. And I believe working with our children is going to be the legacy. That's how the legacy continues. But what do we do now with the organizations, community institutions, the churches? How do we get them to get on one accord again, to get to that common goal again, to get refocused on that? And egos aside and pride aside, and oh, this person think this person thinks that, in that immature mindset, to get back to the mental maturity part. And how do we get on that one accord and that collectiveness again?
Are you ready for this? Because this is. Are you ready for this? You don't ask that question. You don't ask that question. You ask this question. How can I help you serve the community better? Because everybody is living, and everybody who's active believes in their heart that they're doing the right thing and a good job. Remember what we talked about earlier about reading the room? If I come into your church, using the church as an example, and I tell you that what you're doing is not working, you just lost me, okay? So that maturity that you were looking for, so you're basically saying, you just verbally slapped me in my face, but let me get this straight. You now want me to listen further for whatever else you got to say. That ain't going to work. That human beings, human nature is just not going to work. But everybody who's doing something has a mission. And for a nonprofit organization, let's be very clear. The first thing that we don't do is find out what is the mission of that nonprofit. We never ask that. And it's in writing somewhere. And it usually starts with their bylaws. Once you read that, you now know what they have claimed, what they want to do. Now we can address how, and if it's something that comports with what you want to do, you could then say to them, how can I help you make this mission come true? Help you meet the goals and objectives listed in your mission statement. Because now, guess what you just did? In a very nice way, you just turned the mirror on them. This is what you claim you've been doing. Now you kind of got to explain either that you've been doing it and doing it really well at a high level, or that you actually have fallen short and you could use my help. That's how you start a constructive conversation in a non-threatening manner. Because that, to me, is where the answers lie. And so nonprofits are, some have now stated, are under attack in San Francisco. Some believe it's rightfully so. I don't necessarily believe that, but some believe that it's actually an ends to a means for people in regards to politics and so forth and so on. But put that to a side. Look at the mission statement. What is the mission statement of an organization? And watch this. And here's the true test. Hi, Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so. What is the mission of your organization? You're going to hear a pause. If that pause goes past 3 seconds, guess what that probably means? They have no clue on what the mission is of the organization. They have lost sight of that, as you just mentioned. Someone asked me, Rain, what's the mission of the Brown Bombers? To provide youth leadership opportunities for youth ages 5 to 15 years old in the city and county of San Francisco. Like, it's going to roll off my tongue like saying good morning, hello. Because at least now you know what the guiding light is for your organization. So every move you make is for the intentional purpose, as John stated earlier, to meet the goals and objectives of your mission. So if I'm going to pay somebody a certain wage, it's because I believe that a certain wage is going to get us closer to delivering the service or the product that we say we're going to deliver in order to meet the goals and objectives of our organization. If I say we're going to provide this particular service, this is why I'm making this decision. That is what they teach you in school when you are establishing what your mission is for your organization. So I think that's where it starts. You ask them, how can you help them bring to light the goals and objectives of their mission? And if they say, well, I am doing it. Oh, okay, because I didn't know. And the reason why I'm asking is because I was contacted by some community folks that said that they came to your agency and they tried to get X, Y, and Z, and they were turned away. Now they got to answer that, because you can produce the family, you can produce the person, right? Because the whole point is not to show you up, but to show you that this is a real concern, and I'd like to figure out how together we can address it. It's actually got to be about together how we can address it. And so I think that that's the starting point. And it's a hard conversation, but I do think that when you do that, you don't allow the person to distract from what you're talking about by turning into an argument. How can I help you do your job better? How can I help you, right, realize the goals and objectives of your organization and make your mission statement come true? And every nonprofit organization has it, every last one. You know why we know it? In order to incorporate in the state of California, your first sentence states what your purpose of your organization is. So they all have one. And you just basically put that on the table for them.
Rainen, I gotta go a little deeper than that. I think that analogy is great, but I'm tired, Rainen.
I know you are. You're tired and you're over it, John. I know you are.
I'm a dismantler, okay? I've had enough, right? And I know what some of our problems is. Our community needs validation, Rainen. I'm figuring out. See, in doing this work, right? And I tell people, everything takes time. You have to get out in the community. You got to have conversations. You got to pay attention to what's going on so that you can really figure out what's going on. See, part of this of what we're doing here at both sides, I got to understand my people. I know my people. I'm Black. But I got to get in the midst of what's going on to figure out where the lack of services are, where's the miscommunication, where is the problem, right? And what I've done is a little bit of research and jot down what's going on. Our community needs validation. It's one of the biggest things that our community needs. Because we don't get validation, we can't uplift anybody else. Because I need to be
validation.
So validation means I need to be recognized.
Oh,
I need to be the center of the attention. I need to be heard and approved by the community that I am doing a great job, that I am making an impact. Because if I don't hear that and somebody else gets it, then I don't want to work and I don't want to work together. Right? I'm afraid to work with the Brown Bombers, because if the Brown Bombers get acknowledgement from the public eye or the community, and me, myself, or my organization don't get it, it's not good for me. They don't understand that if the Brown Bombers get recognition, it's a way to uplift and bring in resources to help the partnership. So we have a confused community when it comes to what partnering looks like, what does networking look like, how do we work with each other? See, because you get in these meetings and everybody, I'll work with you, I'll do this. And then you find out the competition.
I'm back on you.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Watch this. They're not confused. They're not confused. They know what all that is. Are you ready for this? I'd rather starve than work with you. I'd rather starve than see you get validation. I'd rather starve than being seen that I'm working to build your brand and not necessarily my brand. They know, John. So I got a brother over here who speaks the broken English, can't put two real words together, and he can't speak the King's English. So therefore, in certain sectors, his communication skill and style won't resonate, right? But he has a homie who actually can speak that King's English, who can work and move in different circles. But you know what? I'm not finna roll with him on that. You know why? I want all of this, John. I want all of this to myself. So let me just tell you what this is a microcosm of, right? Real easy concept. Capitalism. Capitalism is getting the most of the pieces in the pizza pie. There's 5 of us, and there's 6 slices of pizza. The real capitalist is trying to figure out who's getting the extra slice. And I'm prepared to kill, maim, and do whatever I can to make sure that I get that extra slice because I'm cutthroat and I'm ruthless. So, John, that's actually what this is. Now, here's the crazy piece. Capitalism has been embedded in this country since America was so-called founded. Capitalism is what got us to where we are today. We're going to make everyone compete against each other, and we're going to reward those that win, and we are going to, listen, eat those that lose. Did you hear that? Eat those that lose. So, John, that's what it is. They're not confused. They know that if they partner, we could do more. Here's the thing. If my organization is 24 years old and your organization is 24 days old, I ain't trying to help you. I'm not trying to do that because I don't want to see your organization shine, watch this, over mine. And that's really what it is. I mean, keep it 100. That's what it is.
No, that's exactly what it is. And it's the terriblest thing in our community. You know, and this is my problem with our community. And I'm just going to call it out. We always want to point the finger at everybody, right? But I talked to this lady, you know, I was going to get a manicure, and the lady said, hey, you know, she said, the difference between us and the Asian Vietnamese community, we all stick together. We can have 10 nail shops on the same street. All of our prices are going to be the same. It don't matter what door you go into. It's $24 for a manicure. It's $50 for a pet. Whatever it is, it's going to be the same. Now it's up to you to make your choice. Now, you might walk in my business. It might be more light in here. It might be a TV. Maybe they don't have all that. But the price is the same. In the Black community, oh, no, why you going over there? You come over here and get it for $10 cheaper. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, we have a big problem, right? And I think it goes back, again, reinforcing the Black code in our community, especially starting with our young people. We got to teach our adults. We got to go back to that Black code and really educating them to start there, right? Bringing back the Kwanzaa principles, right? Kwanzaa is very important to the Black community if we really learn it and understand it. But the Black code is we do not steal from one another. We got to put these principles back into our community or to our young people's mind. First thing, we don't steal from each other. That's the code. We got to bring that code and that level of respect back to our community. We do not steal from each other. We do not kill one of each other. So when the brother's talking about he going to shoot somebody, nah, bro, we don't do that. What's the problem? Let's get the community leaders. Let's find out how we can sit at the table and talk. We got to change the mindset of the people. We got to start with this code. We have to educate our young brothers. We have to educate the families. This is not okay. All right? We do not sell or offer drugs to one another. We got to get to that. We have to make it a point in our community that we won't do this. We have to commit to this, right? I will not sell you fentanyl. I will not give you this. We have to commit to that. Also, we will combine our dollars, okay? We will put our money together. Reciprocity. You support me, I'll support you. We have to make that a priority. We will buy collectively. Black Friday every Friday. Every dollar that I get, I'm going to make sure that I spend it somewhere black or brown. That's what I'm going to do. We can't fight each other. We got to say, we just can't fight each other. We got to educate each other. We got to build one each other up. We got to make sure that we're doing that. Sisters got to protect sisters. Brothers got to protect sisters. We got to do this. If we're not doing this, if we don't get this code, the basic principles, our community is going down even faster than the way it's going. We have to make these oaths to ourselves. We have to make these commitments to ourselves. We will not do these things to each other if we want the advancement of our community. We got to change this. And it starts with each and every one of them. That's why today is so important that the Brown Bombers and Raiden is here, because Raiden is a pillar of the community. See, Raiden gets it, community. This is why he's here today. Raiden is always reaching across the aisle to try to connect community organization, community leaders, community families. Raiden is always thinking about, hey, how can I give back? How can I make an impact? See, if we get more people in our community with that mindset, the faster we advance, the faster we understand that the odds are stacked against us. Everything working in silos, working by ourselves is never going to advance us. We have to understand that.
But remember, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think you're onto something. Guess what though? I'm open to this concept. The change that we want to see, I may not live long enough to see it in my lifetime, and that's okay. What I'm trying to do right now, to be honest with you, Jay, because I agree with you on a lot of this, is that we have to plant seeds. If you think that you're gonna take a grown person well in their years, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and older, and all of a sudden change them overnight, come on, man. John the Baptist couldn't do that. He tried, but John the Baptist couldn't do that. So, planting the seed. And I'll say this. There's a reason why trees don't mess with grass, even though they started from the same seed in the same place. The grass ain't trying to grow like that. The grass ain't trying to impact like that. The grass ain't trying to do that. That's why the tree is hella tall. That seed has made a decision. This is about what we're gonna do right here. And so, I think you're right, but I think that working with the youth, and again, that's just our perspective, is that gives us the best opportunity. So for every lesson that you just said, John, one of the things we do with the Brown Bombers, right? It's a Brown Bomber family. So do you get to beat up your family? No. Do you get to steal from your family? No. Do you get to cuss your family out? No. You get to love on your family. What does that look like? That looks like our kids sitting down and eating together. That looks like our kids riding on the bus or in the van together to an event. That looks like our kids, getting their backpacks at the same time, and all the kids getting the same stuff in their backpacks that everyone else is getting. Those are the things that it looks like, and those are the things that we're doing. This is close, sir.
I'm actually going to take the tables out and break the chairs down.
Oh, okay. Got it. I'm just finishing this. 1 second. Okay. But so that's what it is. And so I just think that we need to just, look at it from that perspective, that if we pick an avenue, an insertion point, if you will, and ours is youth, that we're going to begin to make that change, and we can do that. I think that there's got to be some churches out here that are open to hearing what you and other community folks are saying and thinking, and are willing to partnership. If we're going to put anything on social media, put that partnership on social media now that you entered into it. Show that, look, this is what this organization is doing with this organization, right? Let's teach our kids together and let's show it. I don't do social media because I think social media is, is the devil, right? Because there's just so much negativity out there. But I'm not oblivious to where I don't understand that social media has a huge reach. And if you got something good, it can really benefit a lot of people. So I just think that we got to figure out the insertion points And sometimes what we have to learn too, right, is that when the Warriors need a 3-point shot, they don't give the ball to Draymond to shoot. They don't. They give it to Steph. If we need somebody to communicate and establish a partnership, there's probably some people I'm not going to send to do that. There's probably some other people I'm going to send to do that. Long as the shot gets made and we win, nobody should care. As long as the partnership is created and the community wins, nobody should care. But you also got to understand this, and I think this is what you've come to learn. If you have an opportunity to share love for multiple people as part of an effort, a joint effort, please give these people some love, because here's the deal. I just said people are individuals. If people feel like they're not getting any exposure and they're not being validated, guess what, John? I don't like you today. You didn't put me on the thing. You didn't drop my name. You didn't put my name on the chair like the other people. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. There's always going to be somebody waiting to say the negative about what you didn't do, to help them validate feeling the way that they feel. Because at the end of the day, oh, I don't do this for recognition, then why are we having this conversation on whether you were recognized or not? So stop it with the deceit. Just tell the truth.
No,
you want to be known. You want to be heard. You want to be celebrated. You like us to put you on the billboard at the Bay Bridge so everybody can see you. Just call it what it is. It's okay. That's how most people are.
Hey, Raiden, that's a big part of it. But I'm telling you, this is why I created the Hidden Gems segment. Highlight, giving these folks their flowers. People in our community need it. Just what it is, right? And then when you give them validation, you give it to them, they still got a problem. I don't know what's wrong with these people. But look, we got 10 minutes before we get out of here. But before I let you go, Raiden, because a couple of weeks when we was thinking about having this show today, you know, you broke down a good thing about the neighbor taking the neighborhood and the neighbor out of the community. I want you to kind of, if you can, relive that. I know that was a while ago, but I thought it was a great point about, you know, when we talk about neighbors, we talk about our neighborhood, what's missing when we talk about collectively. I just thought it was a very inspiring conversation that we had. We was on the phone for a while, but if you could kind of relive a little bit of that, because I think that is the ultimate thing that we are missing in our community.
So that word, right? Neighborhood. And neighborhood is basically a community that consists of joint entities that we all get to experience and participate in and visit and patronize. It could be the hardware store, it could be the ice cream shop, it could be the local car wash, but that's what the neighborhood was. And with the word neighbor in nature, it means your fellow man. It means helping, serving, supporting, saying hello to your fellow person. The total word is neighborhood. In 2023, you won't hear many people say the word neighborhood. You will hear hood as if that is something to be saluting. We, as Black people, not all of us, but some of us, have come to accept the term hood as a badge of honor and have dropped the word neighbor. You know why? Because it's no longer acceptable in practice behavior to be neighborly to your fellow man in your community. We don't celebrate that. Two Black people walk down the street, won't even acknowledge it. We don't even get the heads up anymore. We went from speaking, good morning, good afternoon, how you doing? We don't even do this no more. And we used to always do that. We just walk by. And even worse, we drop our head. What are you dropping your head for? What are you ashamed of? You got bad teeth? You got bad diction and you don't want to speak? You don't trust your eyes? You think the eyes is going to reveal something about you if the other person looks you in your eye and you look them in their eye? What's going on? And so that means there's something happening with the person. So the point I was making, John, is simply this, is that we've taken the word neighborhood and reduced it to hood. And we've allowed other people to define what hood is, and we've accepted their definition. And we put it on like a brand new jacket. And we floss it, and we out here popping our collar with this term of hood. And we refuse to allow ourselves to feel as if we belong in a neighborhood like other folks believe they belong in. Because when you talk about Cow Hollow, you don't say the Cow Hollow hood, you say the Cow Hollow neighborhood. When you say Marina, you say the Marina Green neighborhood. When you see Bayview, you just hear Bayview, or you hear Hunters Point, or you hear the hood. We reduce everything down to something absolutely negative, and we give that power, and we didn't even create the definition. It was something that was given to us, and we've now accepted it. Just like a Caucasian person told me the other day, when I should, or when Black people should use the N-word. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What did you just say? You're going to define for me when it's okay, or if it's okay, for a Black person to use the N-word, because you know that you shouldn't ever be using it. So it was just an interesting conversation. So getting back to our point, though, I think that's what's wrong with the word hood. And I think that it has hardened all of us towards our fellow man in our communities, and our fellow women, and that we come across now with a very negative vibe with it. And it has just really like indoctrinated us to this negative, nasty behavior that we seem to have with one another. And so if you have that type of behavior for one another, what looks like disdain, I'm prepared to sell you anything that's going to destroy you. I'm prepared to steal from you. I'm prepared to take you out. So all of the things, John, that you say we need to put back, we've allowed these things to be taken away. And we are continuously perpetuating it right now. Like, here's the crazy thing. You've been around for a long time, John, from what I understand. I've been around a few years. From what I understand, we never met each other. And I remember talking to you one day in front of Cafe Envy, and I said, hey, I seen you on a Zoom call. Who are you? I said, I'm John Henry. You said, who are you? I said, I'm Rainin Ross, blah, blah, blah. And we just had a moment to have a conversation. We've been solid ever since. I'm still looking at how people seem to marvel that when we see each other, there's not just a hello, there's this huge embrace, like you my uncle or I'm your uncle, and we just fam. And to me, that's the way it's supposed to be. I learned that one of my board members, Alicia Hassan, is a relative of yours. I'm like, Alicia, you're kidding me? You never introduced me to John? That's a nice guy. So all I'm saying is that's the way it should be. That's the way I try to operate. And, you know, and of course, you're going to have some folks that say, well, you know, you're going to have those detractors. You can accept that. You can expect that. That's part of the game. But I just think that being neighborly is the way to go. I think if anything, that's what we need to get back to. And let me just be really clear. That's not completely accomplished by throwing block parties with a DJ all the time. Right? Like, I get that we're throwing events and activations, and that's important. But sometimes folks need they need a little more, right? They need to be able to bring something else to table to create that relationship, and that's what I'm always trying to do, because that's just what I was taught. That's what was embedded in me, and that's why I love the both sides of the conversation.
Man, Rainin, you know we love you. I know you got to get out here. I see him turning the lights out. Coach, get out of the building. We're going to let you go, but I want community to know. Rainin Ross, okay? Brown Bomber, Rainin Ross. I got my award up here, okay? The first award that I received from a Black man. in my 42 years of existence. Can't believe it, huh? I couldn't believe it. The first award that I received from a black man came from Raiden Ross. Just want people to know. Now, after Raiden, I received all kind of awards. But listen, Raiden Ross, okay? That's what I'm talking about. The boss, Raiden Ross, true neighbor, true community leader, true pillar of our community, always having both sides of the conversation, always uplifting the families, blessing the people, community families. If you're looking for that entity that your kids are going to get love, consistency, you're going to get the humility, the compassion, the mentorship. Yes, the Brown Bombers are where you want to go. The young cheerleaders are learning how to be young ladies, how to be classy, still have fun. I'm telling you, check out the Brown Bombers. That's where you need to go. Check out the Brown Bombers. Every day, Rain is evolving. Every day, the Bombers are all over the place, okay? And both sides of the conversation. This year, I will be out there. I've been promising Rain for 3 years. I'm going to get there, okay? I promise you, I'm going to make time.
And bring the drone.
Yes. I'm going to bring the drone and we'll get out there this year.
Well, look, John, I just want to say thank you guys in what you're doing. All of you, I think you guys were incredible. Mark, I love your diction. I love your pitch. You bring the news with a flash, and that is needed. And is Stacy your sister? Okay, me and Stacy go so far back.
She's in the comments. She's texting me like, "Tell Randy to say hi."
We go so far back, and she knows the love that I have for her. And when you talk about hidden gems, now that's someone who's been uplifting this community and giving folks access in ways that they never knew existed. If she wasn't where she was, there'd be a whole lot not going on in the communities that we're talking about. Right. So I just want to say, and Ms. Jones, you keep teaching your 3-year-old because it sounds like you're doing an amazing job. I love that work. John, there's a whole lot of words to describe you. I just want to say this. The Brown Bombers currently, we're still taking sign-ups for football and cheerleader and dancers, 5 to 15 years old. The registration fee is $100. Very simple. They get use of full-fledged uniforms. They get practice gear. They have an 8-game season. We have a big banquet at the end of the year. And we are the cheapest youth football and cheerleading program in the entire state of California. And our board has been together since 1999. I don't know how many more have been together longer than that, but that's what we've been doing. And we've been rocking, and we've been having volunteers, and we've been making as big of a difference and impact as we possibly can serving our youth. John, I want to give you this last piece. I told you that we had a special announcement, and we do. Brown Bombers will be launching our brand new initiative called Youth Empowerment, and it's called the YEP program. And so it's a youth empowerment program where we're going to be offering mentorship services to the most vulnerable youth. And it's not meant to be restrictive, but it needs to be, because these are the folks that are hurting. For children 13 to 14 years old, we're going to be providing mentorship opportunities. We have a concept within our organization called mentoring downward. So as we mentor our youth, we're going to be setting them up to provide mentorship to younger people than them, so that we can bridge the age gap, get more information, better understanding, and better communication in a culturally competent way that is based on age. And there will be monetary incentives for the young folks. It's a 10-week program. We'll be releasing more information about that to the general public, but I just want to announce that right here on both sides of the conversation. And if anybody is interested in serving as a real volunteer, as a mentor, we want to make certain that you give us a call or give us an email. I put my email in the chat as well, but we'll make certain we'll give you guys all the details, John, so you can put it out to the community. There is another initiative that we have that's boiling up, but we're not going to announce that one. But I will say this to you. We talked about 9 things today We talked about more than that, but there are 9 things that we talked about that this new initiative is going to cover directly. And you guys are going to remember it when you see it, and you're going to be like, it includes all those things that we talked about today. So thank you guys on behalf of the San Francisco Brown Bombers for having us online and participate in this wonderful Sunday conversation. You know, again, if there's anything that I can do to assist both sides of the conversation as you guys move forward in your iteration of who you're going to continue to be, please let us know. And again, John, I know you're tired. I know you need some action, right? We're going to take this one step at a time, starting off with those that are open to it, open to change, open to partnership. And if we need to send Io in there to set up the partnership, we're going to send her. But if we need to send Mark in there with the smooth voice, we are going to send him with the gear he has on right now. And if whoever we're trying to partner with, if they're working with children, we're going to send Miss Jones. See, everybody has a skill set and an asset that can be best utilized for the purpose of the group.
Right, and we have to send them because when I come in, they go, "Oh no, the bishop."
That's correct, John. That's correct.
See, I just found out how special Stacy was. I didn't even know, right?
Oh, Stacy!
I just told her. I said,
White is this.
Phil is in trouble with the bishop. All about both sides of the conversation.
Hey! Watch this.
The bishop is coming, okay, Phil? You better pick up the phone and call the bishop.
Hey! Watch this. I'm gonna say this for Phil. Phil is the general manager of Park and Rec of San Francisco. That is a major city department, major. And they are responsible for the most beloved geographical assets in this city. But I guarantee you, Phil will agree. If he didn't have Stacy, he wouldn't know where he was going daily in that building. He wouldn't know how to get half the things done he gets done, because this is how valuable this Black queen has been to Phil and to the city and county of San Francisco. So I know her impact, I know her worth, I know her work, and it's a shame that our community doesn't know who Stacy White is. So when you said that, Io, I looked in the eyes and I said, wait a minute, that's got to be your sister. That's got to be a relative. Got to be. So thank you, guys.
Man, thank you. I was honored to meet Stacy as well. Again, yes, Phil Ginsburg is one of the powerful leaders of Park and Rec. And definitely he owes the bishop a phone call. He knows what's up. Phil, I'm looking for you. By both sides of the conversation, people knocking at your door. Pick up the phone. The bishop is waiting for you. He'll be caught. But hey, Raiden, get out of there. Have a good day. Again, thank you for the work you're doing, King, to uplift our young people, the community. We love the Bombers. And again, we're here to support. Please send over all your flyers, information, so that we can continue to get it out to support the folks, community families, Brown Bombers. Look them up. They still got opportunities. I know school is starting. They still taking young people. Get them in there. Get some of this mentorship and leadership. But thank you, Raiden. Have a good evening, brother. I'll see you in the community soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. There you have it, brother Raiden here at the Brown Bombers. Great conversation today. We talk about the impact of community, what needs to happen. We got some solutions. We got some ideas. We got some understanding. We got to bring in the code, the Black code. We got to teach our community reciprocity. We got to uplift the people. We got to get out of these silos. We got to start working in conjunction. We got to start making these intersections meet. We have to bring the eights, the free-flowing eights, okay? We need community flow. I don't know. I'm just saying. But we got to get out of here. It's late. I'm sorry, community. But before we go, I got to let the people give a little bit back. Today's been great. Charisma, you've been listening. What's going on? What did you hear? What did you see? What do you think? How are you going to help us move equity forward? I know you are the science major. How are you going to educate the kids with STEM? How are you going to uplift some Black kids near you? Tell the people.
Well, I do plan on going back to my alma mater, Oakland High School, coming up this September to speak to the kids and to tell them about what I'm doing, and also Encinal High School, because some of my old teachers from high school, I'm still in touch with them and they understand what I'm doing now. So I plan on going back and speaking at the schools, and also doing some volunteer work in the community with the new position I'm going to be taking at this other company, pharmaceutical company. So that's what I plan on doing, to reach out to the kids and demonstrate some science experiments. So I'm looking forward to doing that for sure.
Wow, very powerful stuff. Thank you, for being that mentor in our community, teaching our young people STEM, the importance of science, engineering, and math, making sure that our young people know there's an opportunity for Black females, Black males to get into this industry. Thank you for being that connector, working with our young people and teaching them. Just don't blow up anything for the kids, okay? I don't want to see volcanoes erupted inside of buildings and things of that nature. But make sure you give them the gems and the tools and information. And thank you for your service to the community. And that's what it's all about. Y'all heard Raiden talking about the point of service. I think that's really what we need. And it's great to have that in our community. So thank you for all you do, and making sure that our young people get that type of level of connection with you. So thank you. Brother Mark, come on, brother. You've been laid back today. The voice, you just peeping it all out. Come on, voice, give me something.
Man, I'll be quite honestly, there are certain men that when they speak, you hear a certain level of wisdom and experience that, quite honestly, I could just sit back and listen to. Sometimes I just enjoy being able to soak up some of the wisdom that is available to us in our community. So again, my hat's off to Brother Ross for all the work he's putting in and the wisdom that he's sharing. And quite honestly, I don't think there's a more strategic front that we could aggressively go after than our children. Because again, in those foundational years when they're shaping their perspective on how they're going to evolve as a human, I think we need to be much more intentional about how we address that. And he's just a shining example of that. Again, that's why we do what we do here, both sides of the conversation. So, man, again, thankful for it. And I'll just reiterate the one thing I think we kind of all go back to is amongst ourselves as Black people, start loving what we see in the mirror and treating each other better when we see each other in the community.
Wow, very powerful words. Appreciate that, Mark. That's very powerful, man. I mean, that's what we really have to do. I know I'm losing my voice. I haven't been getting my sleep. I can't get any taller because I'm not sleeping. I got to go to sleep. I don't know. I'm going to sleep. I've been up too many hours. But with that being said, Sister Ayo, I know you got a lot written down over there. You're always taking great notes. Give the community something before we close out today.
First and foremost, I love the statement he made of putting neighbor back in the word neighborhood. It has been slowly taken from us, and we didn't even realize it. The way he just described that painted a full picture. And I agree, Mark. Some people, when they start to talk, you just sit back and you gain so much. Speak less. What you say, you can have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen twice, speak once. Yes, lots of notes, but I feel that in overall, our subject matter was strengthening the community and how to put the power of collective back in the engagement, right? When it comes to our community, it's so important that we model the behavior that we expect from our children. So it is important that we also raise up our children with the likeness of what we hope for, right? We've lost sight of so many things, not just like I gave the example about different organizations, but the community itself has lost sight of the collective goal of what a community is, what the village is. And if we think about our ancestors and the way that they came up and the way that what we came from, the village was so strong. And that is why we had so many successors. It's not about one person making it out. It's about everyone making it up. and to be able to put our children first and put our own selfish egos and pride aside and actually remember that the children are our future. Like Mr. Ross said, he may not be here to see what it is that we're fighting for come to fruition, but in hopes that he leaves a legacy for these children that he is working with, leaves a legacy for even the adults who are bringing up the children after, these generations after generations. They will have a blueprint to what needs to be done and what actions to take and what model behavior actually looks like for us to be successful in repairing, rebuilding, and replenishing our Black communities. And what both sides of the conversation's mission is of bridging the gap between both Black and Brown is a wonderful mission statement. And I'm going to take a piece of what Mr. Ross said. Instead of saying, how can we all do this? How can I individually support others' mission so they remember the integrity and the goal of what it is to be a community? So I take that as my own personal lesson from today, as how I individually can be a part of the collective mission of others so we can all be a community, so we can give back to the village mindset.
Wow, very powerful stuff. Well put together. Charisma, Mark, and Io. See, I'm not that good. I can't write up what took place today. The Unified District of San Francisco, they did a disservice to me, community. So please forgive me if I forget things, if my speech is a little off, if my voice is, I don't know. I'm blaming the school district. They did this to me. I was one of those kids that they just passed along, okay, community? They just passed me along. I don't know. I need help, okay? Raina said somebody has to come visit you. I need somebody to visit me. I think I need a new mentor. I need somebody to teach me some of the things that I've missed going to school in the San Francisco Unified School District. Shame on you, San Francisco Unified School. You have created, this is what you created, a Miss Monster. I can't even get the words out of my mouth. I don't know. But before we get to go today, I have to give the benediction, okay? I'm going to do my best. I don't know. Yeah, Friday was my birthday, community. I didn't party. I didn't go out. I don't know why my voice is gone. I can't even get my voice to raise up high enough. I don't know. Somebody's attacking me. Now they're taking my voice away. I don't know. But I'm going to give the benediction so we get out of here. I know it's late, community. So with that being said, first I want to say thank you, community, for tuning in today. It's a lot of things you could have been doing. There's a lot of things that are going on in the community, but you were here today. You heard some amazing conversations, some ideals, some plans, some things that we need to dismantle in our community. I heard loud from Raina Ross. We have to put neighbor back into neighborhood. We have to put unity back in the community. We have to work together if we want to prevail. It's going to take us all. It's small little steps that we all must take if we want to be great. It's going to take a little coaching. It's going to take a little parenting. It's going to take some self-accountability. It's going to take some networking. We're going to have to make these intersections meet in our community. We have to have the real conversation, the difficult conversation. We must love on our community. We must love on our young people. I heard Raina said multiple times today, consistency is everything. We must show up for our community families, show up for our community elders, show up, and we have to be consistent. None of this happened. We have to be consistent. That's why we're here every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Sunday, trying to make sure that our community know if there's something that they need to know. Hey, we can always turn on both sides of the conversation because we know they're going to be there to give us the information. We know they're going to be out in the community, uplifting the Black business, connecting the people, making sure what's going on is being seen by the people. Shout out to my guy, Marco Silent Tune, for always capturing the photos, the videos of the information. Shout out to our amazing both sides of the conversation team. Great individual people who are doing their part to bind the community together. When we talk about the ebb and flow, the flow of the 8, we're trying to keep that flow. That's all we could do. I am working and walking with everyone, trying to find out, how can I support you? How can I lift you up? Sometimes I don't get the same reciprocity. Sometimes I don't get the validation and acknowledgement, but I'm okay with it. And sometimes I do. I don't know. But we're going to do our part here to validate the community. Give out the flowers. We'll give out in dozens. We'll give out dozens and dozens and dozens of flowers. We're going to continue to support and uplift the community. We're going to let people know this is how it's supposed to go. When we talk about leadership, leadership is about demonstrating what's possible. Taking nothing and making something. Walking, stepping and standing. Being that bond. Making sure we're the glue to stick the people together. You don't always have to agree. You don't always have to follow suit. But you have to understand there are different perspectives. In this neighborhood, it's about love. I heard him say it multiple times today. Love. Community. It's an action. Let's figure out how to give some praise. Let's figure out how to give some humility. Let's have a little patience. Have a little compassion. Because it's all about love. How do I give my brothers, my sisters, something when they need it? That's all we need. When we need it, we need somebody to show up for us. The song says, I need a friend to lean on. We all need somebody. That somebody is our community. Let's make that need all of our needs. Let's not walk around thinking about what I need. Let's look at our community. Our community has needs. Our young people have needs. Our elders have need. Let's bridge the gap. All of our elders in the community. I've heard it twice a day. Don't be so preachy. Don't be so judgmental with our young people. Keep an open mind. Make sure you're willing to listen. Make sure you're having understanding. Make sure you think before you speak. And remember, the most precious minds are our young people. They're trying to soak up everything that we're talking about, what we're doing. They're watching the TikToks. They're listening to the conversation. Queens, pay attention. Be careful when you're in the car, talking on the phone. The kids are listening. Be careful in your home. Somebody's listening to the conversation. Be mindful of the ills in the words that you speak against other people. Be mindful of the words of hate. Be mindful of the things that dismantle and disrupt our community. Be mindful of the things that bridges gaps. Be a welcoming party. Be the person that brings the community together, not divide them. Nobody's perfect, but in due time, we can learn. The Black Code is what we all need to be teaching our young people, all of our community folks. Keep a mind of the mission of the Black Code. Since we're talking about missions, the missions of the Black Code. We will not kill each other. We will not sell drugs to each other. We will not fight each other. We will not. We will work together, uplift each other, spend our dollars with each other. We will make Black enterprises thrive. We will make the Black ecosystem flow in that ebb and aid. The ecosystem will grow. We can get there. Community, it takes time. We can do it. Be patient, be understanding, and most importantly, stay consistent. That's the difference. With that being said, thank you, Rainy Ross, for blessing both sides of the conversation today. To all of the Brown Bomber family, all of the Brown Bombers, all of the mothers, the fathers, the volunteers. We thank you all for keeping our kids safe, for keeping them in a place of love, keeping them in a circle of unity and community and being neighborly. That's what it's all about. Again, we're going to continue to do our part here, pushing our mission forward, to break down the barriers, to dismantle the system, to uplift the people, to mobilize the community, to engage as one. Yes, the bishop. I will bridge the gap with the people. Walk with me. Talk with me. Let's have a conversation. Without the conversation, the healing will never happen, community. I'm telling you, it will never happen. Get it off your chest. Come speak with us. Come have a conversation with us. This Tuesday is our next live show. We're looking forward to highlight some more of our Black and brown businesses. If that is you out there, you have a business. You're like, hey, I want to promote my business. Check us out. Come on Tuesday. Come talk about your business so the community know where you at, so we can continue to spend our Black dollars within our community, spend our brown dollars within our community. Make sure that we are circling around and uplifting each other. If you are, like Sister Stacy, somebody that's making impact in the community, you need to come on so we can give you your flowers publicly and say, hey, thank you for all you do for the people in our community. That's what that Hidden Gem segment is all about. And then this Thursday, we'll have an Educational Thursday segment as we continue to intentionally educate our community. Make sure We get the sauce, the information, the game that we need. You're going to get some this week. Check us out this Thursday. Next Sunday, y'all won't see the bishop. I'll be out for about a week or two. Community, be patient. The team is going to hold it down. The voice will be here. The Reverend, Sister Ayo, Charisma, they'll be holding it down. The bishop, I'll be disappearing. My mind clearing. Vitamin D and sun radiating on my skin. Out in the ocean. Finding my ancestors somewhere. Having a conversation in the jungles. I don't know. But I'll be back because I love the people. I'll always be back. But our team will be holding it down. You're in good hands. As they say with Allstate, you are in good hands. With Brother Mark, Brother Mark and Sister Ayo, you are in good hands. They will take the ship and steer it down the right river. We're not going to put you on the wrong side. We're going to put you on the right side. With that being said, thank you, community, for tuning in today. It's been great. We'll see y'all Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Be safe. And I know our Leo season is coming to an end, sadly. We got to open up the door for the Virgos. I don't know. The world is crashing. Oh, my God. It's going to be a big crash. I don't know. But with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Have a blessed evening, everybody. And we'll see y'all next week. And I'll see y'all in a couple of weeks. Be safe. Keep continuing to pray for me, my family. Uplift me. I need prayers. I need support as well. Okay? I need somebody knocking at my door Sunday to give me some information. All right, y'all. We love y'all. Have a blessed evening, and we'll see y'all Tuesday for our next live segment.